All right, we back. We back. We back. Yeah, my bad. I didn't have the phone charged up, so that's on me, y'all. But if y'all tune back in, appreciate it. This is interview with Enns Part Two. And what I forgot to do at first to give a shout out to my sponsor, Urban Garden. It's a beautiful hat and shirt that y'all hopefully can see. Y'all can go check out their website. It's www.urbangardenbathandbodyshop. They have a variety of soaps, bath bombs, hair products, beard products, all naturally homemade. So shout out to them, and let's get it back started. All right, now again, explain briefly to the audience what is it that you
From the top, indeed. Are we going back to the top?
do? How you want to do it?
I don't care, man. I'll go back to the very top.
Okay, let's go back to the top then. It's on you.
Record Ninja. That's I think how we started it.
That's how we started it.
Yeah. So what I do depends a lot on the session, even the song. So sometimes I'm producing kind of in an old school way, in the sense of I'm bringing in session artists to play certain parts that I feel like will help the artist's vision come back. Other times I may be as involved in that process as composing, whether it's a beat or the music. And then other times I'm maybe operating as an engineer if the artist has a very clear vision, or maybe they're working with somebody else on production on it, and I'm hoping to actualize the sounds. So yeah, what I do really shifts a lot depending on what the need is.
Okay. What do you think hip hop music is in Mississippi since our last interview?
I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. And I think what I said earlier, I would harken back to, in the sense of my scope of what's happening is limited by my experience to what's happening, and I know that hip hop is vast, and that there's a lot of many subgenres and many great artists that are doing great music that I may not even be aware of, and that's not a testament to their reach as much as a testament to just the fact that there's so much amount of hip hop happening. That can be difficult to keep up with everything. The stuff that I am privileged to like get to see come through here, and that I get to work on, I love, and I'm very excited about.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. What do you think about the combination of music and social media when it comes to as far as promoting and marketing yourself as an artist?
We need to be really careful and conscientious, I think is the word that I was using earlier, about how we package that, because the internet has made made everything accessible essentially to everyone, and so we just have to be. I think we need to be really careful and with the kind of content that we share. I think we made the analogy of having somebody when we were younger, maybe somebody, whether it's an aunt, an uncle, or a parent, say, that you can't watch that movie yet. And I think that there may be people at different levels, different ages even. We just have to be aware that, like, on the social media platform, when you put something out, aware at who it's reaching out to, and who has the potential to see that. And there should be a little bit of responsibility, because we are curating the minds of the people who come after us by the actions we do today.
Okay, I like how you broke that down. So do you actually think that artists nowadays somewhat or use social media to be kind of a little bit lazy as far as when it comes to promoting and pushing their product and their brand? Because before social media, you actually had to get out there. You had to get flyers made. You had to go to clubs. You had to, some point in time, maybe perform free just to help. You know what I'm saying? And so, what you think about that? As far as that, no.
It's easy to get your content in front of people because of social media, but it's still just as important to produce good content.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter how many people see your music. If it's not great music, then they're not going to connect with it, and you can't even be mad about that. And no one can be. Like, all you can do is do the best that you can do, and pursue excellence in your craft. And then if you share that, it's up to somebody else on how to connect with it. So social media, is a great opportunity, but it isn't a solution to any problem. It is just sort of like it's a tool that you can use, but the solution still always will be and always has been. Like, you have to make great music that connects to people and people feel something from. And if it's great music, then social media is this great tool that you can use. But if it's not great music, then it's not relevant how many people you connect it to, or how much money you invest in it, or what, all that's not relevant.
Okay, that actually brings me to a point as far as like when artists are given the opportunity to perform at any venue, showcase, or whatever. Put your all into your performance, because you never know who may walk through that door. The venue can be, it doesn't matter if it's a small venue. If there's you may never know who might walk through that door and say, oh, he really went in with this performance. I may want to look into him a little further. So that's one of my biggest things is, like, I'm strong on performance. I'm an 80s baby. I was raised up on, even in the hip hop, when they went on tour, they actually had a live band behind them. You know what I'm saying? You don't really get that too much nowadays. So that's why I say I'm so much on performance. Like, you give me a great performance, you got a fan for life, no matter what type of music. Fan for life.
Yeah, it's that connection. You somehow were able to establish a connection with those people that performed great, and that performance made you feel like you experienced something that you wouldn't have got if you hadn't been in that moment in time, in that place. And that's a beautiful thing. That's part of the addicting thing about music. And social media doesn't. It's almost like a moot point, because it doesn't. It is just a way for you to connect with people, but it doesn't change whether or not that music has to be good and that connection has to be strong. Like, that work that required, the artistry that's required is probably more so now than ever, because there's so much more content at everyone's fingertips at any moment. So, if anything, social media has made it, maybe you could say more difficult, just because of how much music is out there and easily accessible. But yeah, it's not a matter of, like, when it comes to social media, it's not a matter of investing. I tell this to artists all the time when we're having, like, branding meetings. It's not about investing in social media from the standpoint of sponsoring your post to get posts to meet people. I tell people you get a lot more return if you spend 30 minutes a day, not even spending money, but 30 minutes a day going on social media and engaging with other people's content and making friends, real friends, literally going in the comments, literally hitting the double tap on people's pictures. Spend 30 minutes a day doing that, and that will give you more return than investing $300 in your post to get it sponsored.
I had a conversation. It's so funny, bro. I had a conversation with somebody the other week, and we was talking about the same thing. Like, it's not about just posting pictures and
it's social.
Stuff up under Instagram.
Be social.
You have to, like, if you like somebody, don't go into their comments and try to promote your music right away. Just be natural. Like, okay, I like that. That's a good thought. That's like you said, is gonna help interact, and you will get real feedback on whatever you post. Yeah. So that's a mouthful, you brother. Wow, I like that. Let's see what else. What do you want to see from Mississippi artists in any type of genre? What are your expectations?
Okay. I think maybe the first time I misheard this question, I got off on a tangent.
It's okay. It's cool.
Which I was about to jump down there, but I think I understand the question again. Can you say it one more time and, like, maybe
what are your expectations?
Yeah.
From Mississippi artists, no matter what type of music they make. Like, what is your expectations?
Very high, like very high expectations from the standpoint of, I think we need to think about the caliber of music that's been coming out of Mississippi for years and will continue to come out of Mississippi. There's something about this place that's just music, and it just happens, and it's amazing. And so I have an expectation when somebody comes in that they're going to have pushed themselves creatively or be doing something that's new or very exciting. And if somebody approaches me about doing a record that feels mundane or feels like a formula, it's just not a record that I would be interested in teaming up with the artist on. So especially coming from here, I mean, you're talking about a place that has as many Grammys as the next 5 states combined. Five states, and that's Mississippians have that many Grammys. So the caliber of your work has to be really high, and the easiest way to have that is to have this intent pursuit of excellence, where you're intensely pursuing excellence in every aspect of your creativity or your creative process.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're pursuing that excellence, then then we talk, and then you have the opportunity to make something that'll stand the test of time, be timely.
Okay. What inspires you as far as your craft? What's that just makes you just get up and come into the studio and just do you like? What
That's
is
an awesome question. Music's inside of me, so it's maybe some of the feeling. I think it's probably different every day. It's like some days I wake up and I'm just really excited about getting to be a part of some piece of music, and then there are other days that I wake up and I'm really excited about getting to be a part of, like, songwriting in the sense of like we're coming up with something new. Maybe one day I'm mixing, the next morning I'm helping to write something, or the next morning I'm producing for something else, and so the things that get me excited, I think, are the feelings that are within all of that, like the feeling of the music when it feels right. It's like when two strings on a guitar, like, pitches line up and everything kind of resonates, and it feels like the hum of like this thing has come together, and it is this package, it is this thing, it's bigger than any sum of it, like it's bigger than all of the individual parts. And so, like, getting to be a part of that process, man, it's hard. That's a hard question to answer, because it just feels like there's so many things so many aspects of it that I'm in love with, that like I couldn't do anything else. All of those aspects are like a part of my DNA. They're like inside of me. Like I bleed music, and so like getting to be a part of it every day is just the biggest blessing. So yeah, there's not any one thing maybe that I wake up and I think I'm excited to be doing this. It's more so like I feel blessed to get to be a part of it, and I love all of the aspects that I get to do.
Okay. To start off another question, when you said content, because during this whole interview you've been putting emphasis on content.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question that I want you to directly speak to the up and coming independent hip hop artists. When you say content, it's very important that you're willing to invest in your career, which means everybody can't have $1 million studio. But if you got a song, you put a song together, let them know how important it is to get their music mixed, mastered, and all of that. Just let them know how important it is, because just go ahead.
Well, any record that you've heard that has been a professional record was, had professionals work on it. So if you've heard a song on the radio, it was professionally mixed. If you've heard, so I would just say, there's at different points in your career, I would encourage an up-and-coming artist to think, be real about where they're at in their career, and be real about the return that they expect from the music they're working on currently. And if it really is something special, then you have that ability to be patient, to put in the time it takes to get that done at a high level. I really struggle with talking about this in particular, because I kind of like have this viewpoint of letting the work speak for itself, from the standpoint of like I've never sought or been interested in trying to sell what I do in any way, because I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just do what I do, and people like the work book, and I always I stay very busy, and I feel blessed, but I'm also like, I want people to understand that when you really care about what you're doing, then pursuing excellence is like, it becomes a part of your DNA, and when that's the case, then you don't want to settle, and when you're not interested in settling, then you find the right people, and it may not be, it certainly may not be working here. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that work at a high level, and and there's like a lot of people that you could connect with that could help you get your music to the next level. But when you're willing to work and at that high level, you're gonna have to invest in those relationships. You're gonna have to build those connections, and you know, it just really comes down to what do you want to get back off of your music, and if you're not willing to put the investment into it that it takes to get, I mean, if you're expecting to get something back that is on the radio and making you money off of streaming and all these things, and you didn't invest on the front end of that, those two just don't line up.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
It does. I wasn't expecting that, but
I'm trying to dodge it a little bit because it is a difficult thing for me to navigate because that question I feel like is an alley-oop for me to do a sales pitch, but I'm not interested.
But that's not what I was getting at. Though.
No, but that's how I felt it. But
I know.
But I just want to reiterate again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's really not about who you work with. It's about finding the person that has the right vibe. It's not about seeking out somebody that has a name. It's about finding the right person that connects with your music. And when there's millions of great producers and great engineers to work with, and some of them are at different points in their careers, and you could get lucky and you could meet somebody who's kind of up and coming at a certain point at the same time that you're up and coming, and maybe y'all work something out on the way up together, and that's totally fine. It's not about it's not about a specific dollar sign. It's not about a specific name on your record, but it is about investing and being willing to have somebody's back. If you're working with a up and coming producer and you're the artist that's up and coming, do you have that guy's back? Or do you have that girl's back? And are you investing in them? Whether that's time, energy, whatever that is, money.
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's a big investment. You have. Yeah. And basically, you said everything that came with the question.
That's back to back. Both those questions sent me reeling, man.
All right. Let's see. What else we got? What artists from Mississippi would you like to work with that you haven't had an opportunity to work with for whatever reason? That can be across the whole genre of music.
I'm gonna try and answer this without saying any names specifically.
That's cool.
So I'm just gonna say I want to work with somebody that brings a feeling to the table through their music that I haven't experienced before. I'd love to work on that kind of project, and that's at any point in my career. I think that would be the same thing. So I love working with people that bring something to the table that kind of makes me go, I'm not sure, I haven't done this, and then that's exciting, and then I'll get into it.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and would there ever, or has there ever been a reason you would turn down working with the artist?
That happens a good bit, actually. Probably, it happens a lot. I certainly don't work on every project, and usually that is apparent. When we sit down and have a meeting, it's usually pretty apparent between the both of us. It's like a mutual agreement. It's never, there's never any bad blood or beef over it. It's a mutual thing. Because I'm gonna put all of myself. I can't. There's no fader for how much of myself I put on a record. There's no dial for it. If I'm gonna work on a record, I'm gonna pour all of myself into it. And so making sure that there's a good connection between whoever I get to work with and myself is very important. And I try to make that clear, to the artist as well. And usually it is pretty clear on whether or not we should work together. Yeah, I think that, this is a quick plug for business owners. Being afraid to lose business is one of the biggest hindrances to your success. You really have to shed the fear of losing business. If you're afraid of losing business, you'll find yourself working in environments that are not conducive to your strengths.
Not healthy for you.
Not healthy for you. So work in environments that are your strengths, and to do that, you're going to have to let some business go, and that's fine. And that's great because somebody else has got strengths that needs that business. So I would say that for any entrepreneur, startup person out there, music industry or not, one of the biggest things that can hold you back from success is being afraid to lose business.
I learned that when I was still working for myself, detailing cars. I learned that sometimes you just have to turn down something because it just what they say. All money is not good money, and you just sometimes you don't want to overstretch or overbook yourself, but like you said, make sure that you're comfortable with it, and you know you can get something good out of it besides the dollar signs at the end.
I think that's wisdom.
Yeah. So okay, I like that. I like that. What tips would you give any artists out there? Like, that's just open. It's like, however you want to take that.
Tips. Really, I mean, make sure that what you're doing has something to it that has like a feeling, a soul to the music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, making music for the sake of making music is exhausting. It is, especially if you're trying to do it at a high level. There's so much that's involved in it. So make sure that the music that you're creating, you connect with and feel, and there's something strong there. There's a reason there, and there's something in the feeling of it. So I encourage people in that way.
I'm trying to see what that comment says. Somebody left it nice. What? We're just gonna leave that alone. Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. I'll get to the comments later on because we're not gonna have.
I think I can like that.
It's just not going to happen. Rich Dad Poor Dad Arthur said that just as you have to fire bad employees, you must fire bad customers as well.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Great input.
That's deep.
That's fantastic.
That's
I haven't read that book. My wife has actually been telling me to read that book.
We're in the same boat then.
Yeah.
Because she's been doing a lot of reading up on him and YouTube, man. She's just like
that's fantastic advice. I completely concur with that statement.
I have no choice but to agree with it too.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
So I'm trying to think another anything you wanna say?
I'm just excited we get to link up again. I mean,
yeah, man, it was man. Even though we had some technical difficulties 2 times in a row, but the next time I will be prepared. Next time
you were up really early and everything was ready, and because sometimes that's life though, right? Because sometimes you can't. I mean, it happens and you roll with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's and that's you can also use that for artists. Like sometimes you can plan to do certain things and want it to work out a way, but like you brought up, if you're on stage and performing, man, the mic go out. Like, don't turn around to the DJ and just like stop. You got to go with it, and that's where preparing comes in. Like I honestly feel a lot of artists don't take the performing, don't take it serious. I kind of feel like I got to do it, but I really wouldn't. Like, it's very important because that's what's gonna sell. That's what's gonna sell you. Like, if you looking to like do this long term and reap something off of it, and you want the right people to come in and invest in you, your performance is really gonna sell. Because a label is basically like a bank. They not finna invest into you if they not for sure they gonna get what they invested in you and some.
With interest.
With interest.
They're interested in interest.
That's all they're interested in.
Yeah.
They could care less. They could care less about you.
Yeah.
They want an interest for their for the investment. So that's always one of my biggest peeves, right? I just like, especially I do a lot of, since I've in process trying to build my showcase up, I go to a lot of different venues and I see a lot of artists, they come, they perform, and they leave. That right there gets right deep in my skin. I think it's kind of disrespectful to the other artists that's gonna come after you. You done performed and you got what you got, and then you leave. You don't do no networking, but you always screaming you can't make it and whatnot. Like, what's your thought on that?
How can I say this? I think when it comes to all that, like, there is a natural filter that happens. There's a natural curation that happens for artists that are gonna make sustainable careers, and some of that has to do with like the way that you engage with people. That is gonna affect your career. Like if you bug out after your set at a show, That's not anybody's problem but yours. Like, do you want a career or not? And it's really, it's not a matter. Like, honestly, if you don't want to be there and you want to leave after you're set at the show, then go, because you're doing what you want to do, and that will, I mean, that'll line up with where your career is at. If you want a great career in music, then you also are going to be the person that wants to stay there and wants to connect to every fan that came in, with every artist that performed, because you want to make a career out of this. You know, do what you want. If you don't want to stay at the end of the show, like, be real with yourself. That also means, like, well, you didn't want to connect. Well, if you don't want to connect with people, then
why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this? So, you know, I don't get mad at people about that. The only time I'm upset about it is if somebody says they want something. I want to be a career artist, and they don't do the things that it takes to do that, and they get mad or disappointed because the outcome is not there. That's where I get upset, because, you know, why lie to yourself? Because you do the things that lead you to the things that you want. And if you really want change in your life, or you really want, like, to achieve a new level as an artist, then you will do the things that take to get to that level. And if you're not doing those things, then I think you should have a sit down with yourself and meditation or whatever you do, and be like, well, what do I really want? And be real with what you really want. And you know, like, that's up to you. Like, but you will do the things that will get you to the things that you really want, truly want.
Okay. One more question before we go. What do you think about artist development? How important is it, and do you feel like that's something that's needed for Mississippi artists?
Well, in this day and age, I think artist development and personal development, they're hand in hand. So, like, developing your character as a human, developing your, you know, the person that you are, like, that is hand in hand, like, especially with social media, the lines between, like, people are not interested in an artist who is then somebody else on the side, or somebody who has an artist side of them on the side. People are not interested in that. That won't make it. There's no longevity in that today. What's going to make it is people who are themselves, and people connect to that person, and that person happens to be an artist.
I did. And I believe that's something that needs to be worked on, at least offered to a lot of artists down here, because it'll help them, especially if they're serious. You know, it takes a lot. It's a lot. It's not just you going in the studio. It's marketing, promoting.
What was the name of that book that just got brought up?
Rich
Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
So, like, perfect example. Like, if you're taking the time to read and digest content like that, and better yourself as a person, then that will correlate to your artist career. And that's the only way that you're going to have longevity, is if you're interested in bettering yourself as a person. You know, does that make sense?
I totally agree with that. You can't, the word comfortable is very dangerous.
I agree.
If you get comfortable, you let your guard down, you slack, it's, you know, comfortable is not really where you want to be, I feel, as an artist, because you wind up getting lazy.
And be real with, again, man, be real with what you want. It's like if you want to have a career, I know the artists that are working that hard, and I know that it's not bullshit. I know what it takes to actually make a career in the music industry. I know the hours that takes. I know the intense pouring over, like, 1 second of a graphic design to make sure that it fits with your brand perfectly. I know what that actually looks like, and I know what it takes to make that happen. I've seen it. I work with people who bleed that same way. And I also have seen people who say they want that, and I don't even stress about it anymore, because that's a decision that person has to make. And when that person decides, like, it's very easy. Like what we talked about earlier, it brings me back to that question about the, turning down work. For me, I probably know within a minute of talking to somebody if it's somebody that is as committed to music as I feel like I am with what I do day to day. And I'm not about to enter into a relationship with somebody and work with them on their music if I feel like there's a disconnect where they want something but they're not doing the action that takes them to get there. So, it doesn't take long. That's a gut thing. Someone could walk into the room right now and you and I could talk to them for 30 seconds, and I guarantee you we would have a gut reading on whether or not that person is doing the things that it will take to make them have a sustainable career.
So before we go, what I'm getting the feel of is you look for a strong work ethic.
Strong work ethic is not like that is not an option for any mode of moving up in success in your life. It's not like I don't think strong work ethic is like a gauge that some people have more, some people have less of. That's just literally a decision to put your head down and grind and work on what you and do the things that you want to do to get to where you want to be. And like it's honestly not even it's not an option. There is no other option or plan B in regards to that.
More knowledge will only make you better at your craft. Yeah. Man, this has been wonderful, man. This has been a wonderful interview, and I again appreciate you for taking that time out your busy schedule. This was great for me to just walk back up in this room and see all of this equipment that I have no clue on what it's for, but it looks very interesting. Yeah. So I appreciate
Maybe
it.
Maybe the next time
man.
We'll dig into the gear and we can be like, this does this or this does this.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
I
love talking about this shit.
I know you do. I remember from the last time we spent quite some time before we even got the interview started.
Yeah.
So there will be a part 3 to this, and because I feel like when I come away from this interview, I feel like I gained something that I can help push to the artist.
Awesome.
And so, man, once again, it's been great, man.
Always a pleasure.
I'm gonna let you get back to it. Y'all appreciate y'all for tuning in and putting up with these technical difficulties, but hey, it is
and
what
with
it is.
listening to me. So yeah.
Hey, and again, appreciate it, man. Y'all follow me on Instagram, Polo the King Live Show, Polo the King Management Entertainment, also Polo the King Live Show on Facebook, Twitter, all of that good stuff, man. I appreciate y'all again. Salute, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful morning.